From this perspective, the Harry Potter universe is all open carry and pro self-defense. But wears glasses and hangs out with a complete nerd in Hermione. In Forrest Gump, 1994, Lieutenant Dan mocks Forrest, saying, "If you're ever a shrimp boat captain, that's the day I'm an astronaut." Later, when he shows Forrest the new legs lifting him off the ground, he taps them with his cane and says titanium alloy. It's what they use on the space shuttle. And he would have been an astronaut too if hadn't been exposed to the measles. Wait, wrong movie. Gary Sinise also portrays an astronaut in Apollo 13 in '95, the year after Forrest Gump came out. LT Dan shouted, "You chink fuck," during the ambush scene. Ended up having a Vietnamese as his fiancée. I've heard that in a sequel book or something Forrest actually goes to space, making him an astronaut. Movies don't change but their viewers do, movies that hit differently when you watch them at an older age. A Goofy movie. As a kid you connect with Max. He wants to be independent, be his own person and shoot his shot with the girl he likes. As an adult you connect with Goofy. He just wants to be involved in his son's life, be a present father, and make memories with him while he still has the chance. I thought Office Space was hilarious when I was a teenager working at a video store. The neighbor character was hilarious. As an adult with an office job I now see that the movie is actually horror. Dad gets up during every movie without pausing. My dad does the same shit, dude. We'll be stoked to watch a movie and then halfway through make a cup of decaf coffee and go outside to drink it and smoke cigarettes, lol. Comes back in and when it ends he always says that was pretty good. Some people don't care about movies. I have spoken to people who hadn't seen a movie in theaters in 20 to 30 years. Some people really don't care. I know a few people like this. Some just don't feel the need to catch every detail and are happy to experience a movie passively. He grew up in an era where you couldn't pause the TV and he's just acting like the rest of us did. He just never adjusted to the new technology. Pokemon games have become consistently ugly, and it's alright to wish they weren't. Game Freak just underachieves with the entire game consistently. But people still buy. Pokemon Snap proves hard that a Pokemon doesn't need to run on Unity 5 at 6000x6000 resolution to look nice. It just takes care and consistent graphics, loudly crying face. Game Freak gets by on doing the absolute bare minimum and people just accept it because Pokemon, you could hand the IP to literally any other studio and they'd shit out a better game than GF. Considering Nintendo's level of quality control for their other franchises, I don't know why they allow Pokemon to be meander like this. I wouldn't mind if they were ugly, but ran well. As it stands, they look like shit and play like shit. These new age Pokemon games look absolutely awful. I still play the old Nintendo DS versions every once in a while and I don't understand how the product got so much worse despite everything working in their favor. Loyalty at its finest. It was more like the school fighting for Harry. Not even if you got to get with your best friend's hot sister? What about fighting a war for Professor McGonagall? The original BioShock still holds up to this day. The low light setting really helps the immersion and overcome the graphical limitations of the time. Your brain fills in a lot of gaps. Thank you kindly for this reminder. 25 years ago I flew to Japan to buy a PlayStation 2 on launch day. We queued outside a store in Akihabara for 26 hours. That's insane, considering the PS2 was a region-locked console. 24 years ago I worked at Toys R Us on Xbox launch day on November 15, 2001. I'll never forget that day because we had to call police to the store because a man who waited in line to get one, didn't, and pulled a knife on the person in front of him. I'll never forget that idiot screaming and yelling. Tariffs will surely cause business to close and prices to skyrocket. RDR2 newspaper. I assume it's following American history. American farmers suffered greatly during the Gilded Age from increasing automation, tariffs, and high shipping costs. Farmer eventually revolted and started the Granger movement and petitioned the government for reforms. Specifically mentioning the isolationism truly is the icing on this shit cake. Dang, and I thought Fallout had predicted future events, but this is spot on. I'll always love these little behind-the-scenes gem pics. Master has given Dobby a hug. You couldn't find a kid that looked more like the name Seamus Finnegan. Seamus smoking a heater isn't something I thought I'd see today. Daniel looks so adorable in the pic with the 7 Goblet of Fire cast members. Like the rest of them look the normal amount of casual/uncomfortable in a photo, and Daniel looks like he's taking a first grade school picture. I love Rupert and Emma in matching outfits. I also wonder who won that game of chess. Also, Voldy going into Kiss Lucius made me snort. I mean, I would have the same reaction as well, lol. Okay, well, you still need a ticket. What a weird feeling. To see the character in a book that you're playing in a movie, die the way he did. Must have felt somewhat surreal yet devastating, especially since not all the books were released as the movies were being filmed. Did one of them always play Fred and the other George, or did they switch? What a way to find out you have just died. Wonder what the response from the ticket guy was. Thinking face. Activision is using AI art in their new promotional art for Guitar Hero Mobile. A game that doesn't even exist, mind you. No one in the crowd is excited, LMAO. WTF is with these colors, man. 2 blue tracks, one of which sometimes has reddish notes on it. And then there's the pink track that sometimes has blue notes. Talk about lazy. Can't imagine the game being any good if they can't be bothered to see something this obvious. Official Oscars thread 2025. Nick Offerman not knowing Amy Poehler's name is a good bit. Conan's greatest strength is above all else he's at his best when he makes fun of himself. RDJ declined Nolan movie, Holland didn't. First, Doom will get a lot more screen time than Spider-Man, and second, RDJ gets $100 million plus for 2 movies. RDJ is playing the big bad. In a Nolan movie his screen time would be significantly less. Like and subscribe.